If people remember, Tyler Mervs was in Hamilton and was on a 20-something game tryout, was doing well, and by every indication that we had gotten and Tyler had gotten, we didn't expect to see him back in Gwinnett. And so honestly, for us to upgrade our roster, that became a tradable asset in the offseason, because we didn't think that Mervs would be in this league next year. And I still think there's a chance that Mervs won't be in this league next year. We've talked with him about his plans and what they might be, and so anyway, at the time, to make a run at the Cup, to get the Bowers and Sasha Guimond, and to bring Ryan Ginand in here to make a run at the Cup, or a hopeful run at the Cup. We traded what we thought was players that I shouldn't even say players, because at the time they were just selections by Orlando. We certainly knew that some of these players had a chance of being taken, but we just felt like it was a reasonable chance to take at the time. Unfortunately, in Cincinnati, the season was cut short, but in any case, these things happen. We love Mervs. I was just talking to him the other day, and I told him that it was certainly something that we didn't like when he was selected by Orlando. But we really appreciated everything he did for Gwinnett while he was here, and Mervs was great about it, and said he totally understood the situation. I'll be completely honest. I hope I don't see him in an Orlando uniform next year, but if that happens, I hope he does well. But I think there's a very good chance that Mervs, might end up in Europe, or back in Hamilton or something like that next year as well. And then, losing Tristan, I thought Tristan did great for us down the stretch. He was definitely a guy who was very valuable in the sense that he could play both defense and forward. Again, not what we wanted, but we'll move on from that. And then Donnie was, honestly, we just weren't sure if Donnie was going to play next year. The indications that we had gotten was that he was very, at best 50-50 on it, and so again, that kind of becomes an easier thing to swallow than to lose a player who you think you have a very good chance of getting back. But all three players played great for us, and while they were here, and that was kind of the reasons behind the trade. Losing Russ to San Francisco, Russ is a good player, but honestly, I think he played less than a dozen games with us before he was called up and finished the season in Portland. I think he has a very good chance of staying in Portland next year. But in any case, every one of those trades was made in an effort to bolster the team to try to make a run, and I think we did that. Unfortunately, we fell short in Cincinnati, but that's the reason behind the trade, and that's the reason why the season-ending roster might be smaller than some other teams. So, well, the season-ending roster is shorter than other, I guess, rosters we've turned in the past, and probably other rosters around our league for a few reasons. First of all, there's several players that we've talked to that we know, are moving on to other things in their lives, or they've gone to Europe or whatever it might be. That's one reason. Another reason is quite simply, some of them there are players that we could protect. That Kyle Lawson is a perfect example. We have the right to protect him, and other teams protect a player like that, but it's really pointless because Kyle Lawson's not playing hockey anymore. He's not playing hockey next year. Tony Lucia is another example. There's all kinds of players that we could have, theoretically protected and held the rights to and everything else, but we know that they're not playing next year. And the same thing is true of many other teams' rosters. There is a considerable amount of player listings that aren't playing hockey next year. So just because a player's name is on a sheet doesn't mean that that player's coming back or has any intention of coming back, whatever it might be. So that's one reason why the roster is where it's set at. The other reason is there are a handful of players that we have already spoken with that we know if they come back, they're coming back to Gwinnett. We've already had some loose contract terms, or we're discussing with them right now, and honestly just didn't protect them from a sense of having their rights to lose in a trade or something like that. Yeah, no, actually, it's not a concern at all. To be honest with you, we're already in talks with a few of the guys that that our fans will know, and hope to get some of those finalized. We're also in talks with a few guys who haven't played for us in the past, but who we think could be key pieces going forward. Had a good discussion with Phoenix last week, and everything looks good on that situation. We're going to discuss some particular things like what they see as far as position by position, what they might have. And had a good discussion with Buffalo about what their plans might be as well. So to be honest with you, I'm not. I know, this kind of happens every year. We have fans who are asking, why haven't you signed this guy? Why haven't you signed this guy? Well, the first reason is the first day that we could even sign a player was this past Sunday. So we're basically, a day and a half into the new signing period. So we haven't officially announced anything yet. And then there's some other things when we do sign players, we don't necessarily announce it immediately. We obviously from this well, from a media relations standpoint, we sign it in order to kind of get our name in the paper as the season goes, or as the summer goes along, I should say. So in any case, no concern at all about where we stand from a player personnel standpoint.